Welcome back to Patrick Draws. Today we're going to be drawing Ian Lightfoot from Onward. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to launch my favorite program here, Rough Animator. You can use any drawing program you like, or even a paper, or even pencil and paper. Let's go ahead and create a new project. I like 1080p. And let me just zoom out a little bit. Now I want to bring in an image, so we're going to import an image I found on the internet here. And I'm just going to shrink it down a little bit and bring it over. Okay. Now let me bring up my layers so that I can, I'll just call this Ian Lightfoot. Okay. Let me just go ahead and add another layer. I'm going to call this Shapes. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to add one more, and I'm going to call this my Cleanups. Okay, so let me start here on the Shapes layer and grab my brush tool. Let me zoom in a little bit. And let's grab a red, and let's just start drawing on top of this. I want to draw the shapes that I see are building out this character. So the first thing that kind of pops out to me are two things. One is I see an oval here for the face. I usually start out with the head, so something like that. And then I see some triangles here, and I almost see the triangle going like this. So that's kind of the shape that I'm seeing coming out of his face. And then I also see a circle here, which is creating up a tuft of his hair. And then we've got a couple of more circles here and here. And let's see, the nose here, to me, it's almost like a diamond or a sideways square. So let me do that. The mouth, let's just throw in a little oval here for now. And then the eyes, we've got a couple of kind of tilted inwards ovals with some circles going in the centers there. And then the eyebrows are kind of going up like this. So let me just throw in a couple of rectangles here for the eyebrows. And as I pull out, let's see here, the hands, I'm just going to throw in a couple of circles here to get us going on the size and the position of the hands. And then you'll notice that from the wrist to the elbow, I'm just going to do a straight line, and then from the elbow to the shoulder, I'm going to try and do a straight line going right in the center of the arm. And if I want, I could even throw a couple of circles here. I do that sometimes to just kind of show me where the joints are. So from this shoulder to this elbow, and then from this elbow to this wrist, we've got that bone going that way. And then if I want to, I could connect the shoulders here with a line, and coming down the center, we've got, I'm just going to throw a straight line, and that's going to kind of show our spine going down the character. So this is a good start here. Let me throw a little rectangle in here for where the neck needs to go. And then if I'm starting to look at his clothing, I see a triangle coming out of here, and then I see a triangle coming out of here. And then if I want to flesh out his arms, I see a cylinder here. You see this right here, and if it kept going, it would look something like that. And then the same thing over here, we've got this cylinder here. And we can use these underlying lines, these bone lines, as a guide. And then we've almost got a circle coming through here. It's really another cylinder, but I'm just going to draw a couple of ovals in the meantime to kind of give us the shape for these arms here. And that's going to get us pretty close. Let me just do a couple of connector lines there for the shoulders. And let me come in here on my layers, and I'm just going to turn off the original drawing or image. And there we go. You can kind of see him coming together. And remember, I didn't even draw his ears as individual triangles. I kind of saw them coming as a full triangle shape coming through his face there. So this is going to be the basis for how I draw this character. So let's go ahead and bring up his image again. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw my own version over here on the right. So I like to do a couple of things here. Let me just throw a little baseline of where the drawing is going to end. And then the highest point of the character is going to be somewhere around here. That's going to help with my proportions as I get started on this character. So we've got a line kind of going straight here. He's standing fairly straight up and down. And I'm just going to go ahead and draw the oval for the face there. And then I'm going to draw that triangle. Now you notice this ear is bigger than this ear, so I got to make sure that this triangle, which is it's basically going through my center of the face here. So let me draw my center face lines. Actually, this line is more going this way, so let me do something like that. And let's go ahead and use this eye line here as the line for the ears. So if I draw my triangle kind of coming through the center line, I want this to be shorter than this to keep that side of the triangle shorter than the other side. And then we're just pointing it down towards the chin here. And that's giving us right in here our ear shapes. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead and throw the nose in somewhere underneath. It's starting underneath this center line here, right about here. So throw our little sideways square in there. Maybe a little bit bigger than what I did. And then the mouth is down underneath that. So I'm just going to throw a little oval in there. Now the eyes aren't perfect circles. They're ovals that are kind of aiming this way. So let's try and mimic that as best we can here. And I might even want to zoom in to do that. Something like this. Okay. And then pupils are more towards the center here, like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill those in for now. Let's do the eyebrows are also kind of going in the same direction that the eyes are going. So let's just throw a couple of rectangles in here. And I think I want to go for the hair here. So this biggest tuft of hair is coming kind of off of the center and hanging over the ear. So I know it needs to come right around from here to here. Something like that's going to be the overall shape of the hair. And then I've got this one here and this one here. And then the hair also, actually here's a little triangle right there. So let's kind of throw that in. Now let me take a look here. The overall shape to his body here, I'm seeing a triangle coming down and creating his shoulders somewhere, something like that. And then from here, let's go ahead and throw in those hands. It gives us an idea of the size and the shape and the angle of the hands. And again, let's throw in some bone structure. We're going to go from the shoulder, the elbow is down about here, about the baseline here, and then back up to the wrist, which is here. And same thing over here, we've got the elbow on the baseline, down and up. That's kind of giving us the direction path of our arms. And so let's just kind of flesh these out a little bit. And I know that there were some cylinders in here, so let's just go ahead and throw those in. Let's go ahead and throw in these triangles here that are his hoodie. That's going to give us that. The rectangle here for his neck. We don't want to forget his neck. And And I know he's got these backpack straps. I'm not really paying too much attention to the details yet. But that gets pretty close. Now his arms seem to be going out a little more than mine do, so I maybe have misplaced this elbow. So we can kind of adjust that here. Something like that. And you can see, this is why I call this stage the roughs, because this is a real rough drawing. We're not going for detail in this stage yet. But what we do want to do is get our proportions correct. So I'm pretty happy with where this is for now. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my cleanup layer, and I'm going to bring my shapes layer down in opacity. And now I'm going to grab a black, and now I'm going to go ahead and start cleaning up this drawing. Okay, so using my lines as a guide, I'm going to start just drawing in some cleaner lines, and usually I'll use my red underline as a guide, and then I kind of give it a little bit of an arc if needed, or a little bit shape here and there. I'm going to start adding a little bit of detail, but our underlying red lines are going to give us our structure. So this nose is a little tricky, but I might do something like that. And then I know he's got a little curve in there, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to try and get these eyes as clean as I can here, because the eyes are important, but you want to try and get them as close as you can, because that's a key point of it looking like the character. And you'll notice as I'm drawing these eyes, I'm not putting my pupil right in the center. I'm putting it so that it touches this line right here. Same thing with over here. These pupils are touching the inner center part of the eyes, right in here. So I just want to make sure that I do that. I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. And I may even take my eraser and just knock out a couple of highlights right there. The mouth, I'm probably not going to do as clean of a mouth as they've done, but what I'm going to do is just kind of represent his teeth there. I'm not going to go in and draw the full detail of the teeth. And let's see, so the jaw, let's go ahead and bring that down from the upper ear here. Something like that. And let's get his eyebrows in here. And sometimes I'm not even really looking at the exact detail over here. I'm just kind of doing my own idea of what an eyebrow looks like. And the same thing is going to go for the hair here. I know I like to draw hair kind of like this. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm just going to give him my own little hairstyle here in the way that I like to draw hair. And looking at over here, something like that, and then we'll just do something like that. And maybe I'll give him a little detail line here or there on the hair. And let's see here. Where do I want to go next? Let's go ahead and start working on some of his clothes here. Again, we're using these triangles as our guides. Let's bring the neck down. And okay, so the hands, I'm going to try and do this relatively quickly here. We're just really throwing in some equally spaced lines here. And I know a lot of people are afraid of hands, but they take practice, but once you get used to them, they're not that difficult. And I'm going to throw a little thumb right there. And then from the wrist, I know I've got that cylinder from his sweatshirt. And then if you notice, so this cylinder comes down, and then we've got this sleeve coming out of the top. It's not coming out of here, right here. It's coming out from here. So if I drew it from here, it's going to look kind of weird. So we want it to come out from here, kind of out of the middle. And that gives it some volume and some depth. And then let's just loop that around. And then let's go to work on this hand here. So I know that the thumb is coming out something like that. And let's just start working on our fingers and just try and work on them one at a time. There's no reason to need to draw the whole hand all at once. And so then his hand is holding this backpack strap, so let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. And then that actually comes up like that. And then the hand, and then we don't want to forget about this cylinder here for the sweatshirt. And then see, we've got the same thing here coming out, not out of here, for here, off the middle here, we've got that sweatshirt coming out of here. And then let's just kind of connect a few things here. And let's throw in this strap, backpack strap. And let's make sure we get our little V here connecting. And that's going to help when we go to color this. And I need to get this strap there. And let me connect this. Again, that's going to help when we go to color this. We're looking pretty good. Let's see. What else do I want to clean up here? When it's time for me to color this, I need to make sure that this is connected so that my color won't spill out. So I think that's looking pretty good. Let me pull back of my shapes here and just look at my drawing and the original drawing. And see if there's anything that I would change. And I think, let's see, I'm looking okay. This eye is probably a little bit big, so I could either redraw that, or if you're working digitally, there's tricks to go ahead and shrink and move things around and resize things and rotate things. So I might just do something like that. And yeah, that's looking a little bit better. So at this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and try and just fill some colors in here. So let me take some blacks and get started here on the straps of the backpack. And let's grab like a gray here for the sweatshirt. Oop. So you see what happened here. I have a little break in my line work here, so I'm going to fill in everything with that color that I can. Then I'm going to come back and connect that line. Okay. Now I should be able to fill it. Yeah, that worked. Okay, let's see. His skin tone is a little bluish, so I'm just going to grab like a light blue here. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, that'll work for me. And I'm just clicking and filling and giving him some color real quick here. And then for the underneath of the nose, I want that a little bit darker. So I'm just going to pull that a little darker and maybe even a little more. There, something like that. And even though his eyes are white, I still need to fill them in with white. So I'm going to do that now, and the same thing with the teeth. And then let's grab a dark blue here for the hair color and for the eyebrows. And I'm going to grab my brush, and I'm going to just do draws behind here real quick. And this way I can fill in any kind of gaps that my color paint tool missed out on. And that's looking pretty good. So let's just take one last look at this guy. Zoomed in here. And, you know, I'm kind of happy with that. So there's my version of Ian Lightfoot from Onward. I hope you enjoyed that and learned something. If you have a suggestion you'd like me to draw, just leave it in the comments below. This has been Patrick with Patrick Draws. See you next time.